A refugee was wrongfully deported in the past, but they were brought back. So why can't a Maryland man have the same fate? Let's break that down. Hi, I'm Melba Pearson, also known as the Resident Legal Diva, and this is The Breakdown. If you enjoy the content on this channel, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and tell a friend. So, back in this presidential administration's first dance with the American people, back in 2018, there was a gentleman by the name of Munir Sabhani. Hopefully I'm saying his name correctly. He was a refugee from Iraq, had been living in the US for 25 years, and there was a federal court order that had prevented him and other similarly situated Iraqi refugees from being deported. So, happily living his life, all's well, until he gets scooped up in an ICE raid. His attorneys are working overtime, trying to figure out where he is and all of that. They went to ICE. ICE was like, we don't know. Well, turns out, oopsie daisies, they deported him to Iraq. Now, as you can imagine, that's incredibly frightening and traumatizing because we're coming out of multiple entanglements in the Middle East and Iraq and that entire area. And we had many Iraqis, Afghanis and others who either assisted us with intel and different things in the war efforts, or also were just basically being persecuted because of their religious beliefs or who they were, etc., etc. So deporting somebody back to Iraq is definitely not a good fate, much like one being deported to El Salvador when you previously fled. But be that as it may. Okay, so they're going back and forth, realize that he's been deported to Iraq, and the government admitted their mistake. They were like, oh, no, we didn't mean to deport him. This is a problem. And so basically the government in court pleading said, we made our mistake. We're going to try get him back. A federal judge directed them to go to great lengths to bring him back. And so basically, understanding here, they had no clue where he was because Iraq is a big country. So he's been sent away, they have no clue where he is, and they have to go on this mission to figure out where he is and then bring him back. So what ends up happening next is that by September, remember, he's scooped up in August. By September, the wheels are already in motion. They're looking for him. By late September of 2018, ICE told federal court, hey, listen, we think we may have found him. We think he may have made it to Iraq. They had gotten investigators involved to try to figure out where he was. They were even calling airlines to figure out what flight he was on, all of this. So they did a full and thorough investigation to find where this man was. By the end of October, they found him and brought him back to the United States. So we're talking from August of 2018 to the end of October 2018, they had found him. And by the early part of the new year, he was happily on U.S. soil living his life again. So just that quickly, they were able to rectify the mistake and bring him back. So interestingly enough, we now have a situation here with a gentleman out of Maryland, Kilmer Armondo Abrego Garcia, who again was wrongfully deported. There was a court order in place, much like in the first case, that said he was not to be deported. He was deported. And here, the administration even knows where he is. It's not like he's been sent to in the country somewhere and they'd have no clue and they have to look under every stone to find him. They know exactly where he is. He's at that infamous prison. So this whole discussion of, oh, we can't bring him back, this is too difficult. This same administration back in 2018 went through great lengths to bring somebody back with a more troublesome set of facts and a more of a difficult time to even locate him. But yet you have somebody where you completely know where they are. You admitted that you made a mistake. But now you're saying you don't have the power to bring them back? Yeah, that does not smack as accurate. And what's the difference between the two? there's only an allegation that Mr. Abrego Garcia was part of a gang. And as we dig deeper, it turns out that one piece of information came from a jailhouse snitch, basically a confidential informant, who, again, has plenty of reason to not tell the truth. And then an allegation made by a state trooper or some member of law enforcement that, oh yes, he's involved in human trafficking. No charges were ever filed. No evidence was ever presented. It almost seemed like an off-the-cuff comment. So you have somebody who has no criminal history, either here or in Salvador, has not done anything, either here or in El Salvador, that he needed to be extradited for or anything like that. So again, why are we going down this whole exercise when the feds have it in their power to bring them back? They've done it before. They can do it again. And nothing's changed. So the hypocrisy stands as per usual. And again, hopefully by continuing to shed light on this case, by continuing to keep the pressure on, Mr. Abrego Garcia can make it back home to his wife and child back in Maryland and hopefully be able to put this chapter behind him. I'm Melba Pearson, also known as the Resident Legal Diva, and this was The Breakdown. If you enjoyed this, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Take care and see you next time.
I'm Michael Popak, and I got some big news for our audience. Most of you know me as the co-founder of Midas Touch's Legal AF and the Legal AF YouTube channel, or as a 35-year national trial lawyer. Now, building on what we started together on Legal AF, I've launched a new law firm, the Popak Firm, dedicated to obtaining justice through compassionate and zealous legal representation. At the Popak Firm, we are focused on obtaining justice for those who have been injured or damaged by a life-altering event, by securing the highest dollar recoveries. I've been tirelessly fighting for justice for the last 35 years, so my own law firm organically building on my Legal AF work just feels right. And I've handpicked a team of top-tier trial fighters and settlement experts throughout all 50 states known as big auto injury attorneys who have the know-how to beat heartless insurance companies, corporations, government entities, and their attorneys. Big Auto's attorneys working with my firm are rock stars in their respective states, and collectively responsible for billions of dollars in recoveries. So if you or a loved one have been on the wrong side of a catastrophic auto, motor vehicle, rideshare, or truck accident, suffered a personal injury, or been the victim of medical malpractice, employment harassment or discrimination, or suffered a violation of your civil and constitutional rights, then contact the Popak Firm today at 1-877-POPAK-AF or by visiting my website at www.thepopakfirm.com and fill out a free case evaluation form. And if we determine that you have a case and you sign with us, we don't get paid unless you do. The Popak Firm, fighting for your justice every step of the way.